Quis. So we have home court, right? So game 1 and 2 is going to be at the Garden. I ask you and I ask the chat this. Is game 1 a must win for the New York Knicks?
I won't say it's a must win, but it's definitely imperative that we get up to a good start. That's why I was so upset to see how we came out this game against the Celtics, seeing that they were going to be shorthanded and that we knew we needed to win this game in order to secure, home court. So for us to not go into this series off to a hot start, I think that's upsetting. But game 1 is not going to be a must win.
Now, remember, though, this is not an experienced team. So if we go down 1-0, you talk about pressure. You talk about that post game. Tibbs is gonna feel pressure to make a lineup change in game 2. I tend to agree.
You got to remember, we're supposed to be here.
I know, but now we're here. So now we have to look at how we can win.
But that's what the media says in that locker room right now. The Knicks are coming in where they're not supposed to be. And everybody's counting against them. So I think they're coming out regardless, and they're gonna have a great series. So I don't think game 1 is a must win. I think we've seen the Knicks lose and bounce back in games after that and make adjustments. They don't make great game adjustments from game to game.
Yeah. Because of our defense, I don't think that dropping game 1 is gonna be, that devastating. It's not gonna set us. It's not gonna dictate the whole series if we drop game 1. Which against some other opponents,
it depends how we lose too. We get blown out game 1, and that's gonna be rough.
Yeah,
especially at home.
If we get blown out because we played or if we get blown out because the Hawks just go off, that's two different things. Because they have the shooters. We could play great defense and still lose if the Hawks go off. I mean, Bogdanovich, Trey, Hunter, Collins, all those guys, Lou Will, they're lighting it up.
Man, just like King John 1985 says, losing game 1 would be tough, because I think the best case scenario for Tibbs would be to win game 1, because that would mean that you can keep Elfrid Payton in the starting lineup. Now, that doesn't mean that that's what we want as fans or us as the panelists, but when you talk about that philosophy of it's worked and we've gotten this far, I think Tibbs would like it that way. So if that's what you want, you don't want to go down 1-0 and then game 2 you're experimenting, because as a coach you have to make adjustments. You can't lose game 1 and then go into game 2 potentially with the same rotation. Now, obviously we would have to see how the game played out, but I think the Knicks really need to get game 1. Just set the tone. Listen, also, we've beaten them in the season.
When you say need, do you mean okay, I guess the way I'm looking at it is, does losing game 1 mean it's gonna cost us the series? I don't think so. That's why I'm saying 7 games. I think regardless of what happens in game 1, Thibs is going to make the adjustments. The players themselves are going to make the adjustments, and we play tremendous defense. So we're going to recover. We'll get that second game when we drop game 1 and go back to Atlanta. For all we know, we could take both in Atlanta and then come back 4-1. So I just don't want to hear 3-1. I know you don't want it. I think you're just right. You're talking from an anxiety standpoint as a fan. That's a different mentality. I'm talking about the players, like he was saying, the guys in the locker room, they know who they are. These guys are ballers. They're all
they're gonna find out, George. They don't really know yet. They're gonna find out. A lot of these players don't have playoff experience, but they're gonna find out who they are.
Either does Atlanta. Yeah, Atlanta could do this where they blow us out in game 1 and think, oh, we got the Knicks, and then drop the next 3 and. Dude, I've seen this happen we've all seen this happen in especially in the playoffs, where game 1's a blowout and game 2 the team comes back. Denver, look what Denver did. Look what Denver's done the past 2 playoffs years. They've come back from down 3-1. This team is there's too much good chemistry on this team, and the truth is they are playing with house money, so everything is gravy here, but they want to go as far as they can. I don't think dropping game 1 is going to crush this team. That's my feeling.
I also wouldn't call it an experiment, because like I said before, we've seen Derrick Rose in the starting lineup and we've seen the team be undefeated. So, and also if you elevate Derrick Rose into the starting lineup, you really don't have to throw off the rest of the rotation. Like you guys said, we've been going 10 deep for the most part. So we elevate Derrick Rose, our second unit won't change that.
He's just talking about from an anxiety stress standpoint, you know, from a fan. Like
George,
I want them to win. I want them to win 4-0.
I know, George, but if we go down 1-0, you're talking about now. This is not the Lakers with Kobe and Shaq and like those teams they didn't care if they were down. You know, LeBron James teams, they don't care if they go down. Like these are experienced guys. They know how to respond to pressure situations. They know how to respond to adversity. This team is going through this experience for the first time. You give this Atlanta Hawks team confidence. You go down 0-1. You know, now Tom Thibodeau, you know, going into game 2, guess what? Elfrid Payton may start. And what will you need to do in game 2 if you're down game 1? If you're down 1-0, guess what? You're gonna need to have a fast start because you go down 6-8 points in game 2 after you down 1-0. Them wrists are gonna get tight, them cheeks are gonna get tight. You know what I mean? And you know things could turn for the worse. So I think if they can win game 1,
yeah.
And you know how history is with these percentages. You win game 1, you have a certain percentage of winning the series. I think game 1 may be a must win.
Okay, I'm so JD's on must win. Yes, for game 1. It's not a must win. It's you know I would love it, of course. You know, I'm highly confident that if we drop game 1, it's not going to dictate the whole series. But again, like you said, it depends on how we lose it. So
yeah, I think it's all subjective to how it plays out as well. Like if we lose game 1 because some wild stuff happened and it was at the buzzer or something.
Well,
if it was a nail biter, you can't
like
get
RJ doing that stupid play, you know,
inbound
against the Lakers.
The inbound. Like if it's like that, then that's demoralizing. Yeah,
very.
Yeah,
very. You're gonna start hearing people say we got to bench him if he starts doing nonsense like that,
right?
Especially in the playoffs.
I think Frank
do it.
I think Frank may be key in this series more than what we think.
Frank's going to get some burn.
He may not get a lot. I just think situational.
Elevate Rose and then put Franklin.
Ntilikina.
And then you can put Frank into the second unit.
Frank Roosevelt.
And then you have Burke still operating as the facilitator, as the floor general. And then you have Frank as a defensive specialist who can knock down, catch and shoot threes.
Yeah. I think it's encouraging that we've seen Tibbs play him in these situations and in the games. I think that means that Tibbs is opening up to potentially playing Frank.
I think it's like he said, the tea leaves. I think it's a sign that there's a possibility Frank might get Elf's minutes.